everyone. Om Shanti, and welcome to our Thursday night session. And as you probably know, if you've joined us in the previous few weeks, our theme this month is spring, a time for renewal. And tonight we have Brother Erik, whom you all know if you've been here, and he will be talking about having a caring nature. And welcome, Brother Erik, to this side of the camera.
Greetings, good evening.
Good evening. I know you need no introduction, and I'm always surprised and enlightened by your presentations. And I feel like an audience member because I'm going to sit here and be surprised and enlightened with everybody else. But I have to tell you that I have a page full of notes on things to say about tonight's topic before we get started. What is a caring nature? What does that mean to us personally? Taking care of myself. How do I take care of myself so I can take care of others? What does caring mean? How do I take care of nature? How do I take care of this world? But after watching the previous video, which I'm sure was chosen by you, Brother Erik, right? Yeah. And the beauty of it, I have to say, I reread the blurb on the flyer, if you've seen it, and I'd like to share it with you, because for the entire month, I've never read it as a kind of meditation, and it made me a bit sad. So indulge me for a moment. Here comes the wonderful miracle of spring. As the sun warms the frosty earth, bringing hope, joy, and comfort to all, let us celebrate the renewal of energy within, the renewal of energy within that longs to be awakened. And after watching the previous half hour, I'm thinking of everything how far we've gotten from our innate nature and how clear this beautiful half hour has made all that. How far we've gotten from really perhaps believing that our innate stage is one of peace, of love, of health, of taking good care of ourselves and our environment so that we can bring blessings to those who are less fortunate, so that we can, in fact, take care of our planet. And sometimes that just seems really difficult these days. So I think most of you know that what we're about here, when we say take good care or take care of yourself, it means that we're going to bring this to a caring that means it's got love in it and it's got other in it. And these are the things that I've been free associating before I even hear what Brother Erik has to say. I have to step out of the way. I have to put Louise on the shelf and just draw on whatever strength she has to be a caring person. It can't have me in the mix as someone who needs from you. I need to give to you, and then automatically I am renewed. So those are my first thoughts about caring. Now, Brother Erik may bring in a machine that makes all kinds of springs and have us meditate to that, or do all his engineering magic. But here I am giving you what's inside my heart, and I can't wait to see what Brother Erik has in store for us this evening. So without further ado, Brother Erik.
Thank you.
The evening is ours to enjoy from you.
I'm happy to hear your thoughts because they are very much in sync with how I'm going to align my thinking with the topic. And the topic that was written is a healing nature. And what I started with is healing nature. And so healing nature, to me, it makes it wide open because they can be both descriptive of each other. And you did a very good job of playing with both of those. Nature is healing, nature needs to be healed. What are the qualities, and back and forth. And so I'm going to kind of slide through some of those items, and thought that I would just take what's nature is available to me and pull out some of those qualities and see how we might be able to apply it to ourselves. So in that sense, oops, that was not the right thing. Hold on. Yeah. Where are we? Anyway, there we go. What is wonderful about our Thursdays is building on a sense that we share a certain perspective, a spiritual perspective, want certain qualities in our life, and then maybe look for ways to explore that and to open up new ways of thinking about our spiritual life and how we might apply that. Or one of the principles that I follow is that what you think about, you're going to experience more of, and what you're looking for, you will find. Okay, and just you can think about that. Whatever you're looking for, you will find. If you're looking for angry people, you'll find them. If you're looking for things that are wrong in the world, you'll find it. If you are looking for little nice, sweet moments, if you look for it, you'll find it. You can find it, on the subway when people don't think they're being watched. They just are human, and they're very sweet. People smiling that you wouldn't expect it, and a variety of things. But holding on to that concept that if you start to think of something, you will start to notice it. You put on rose-colored glasses, you're going to see rosy things. You put on glasses of nature and healing, and you're going to start to see things from that. And so I saw some of those things in my neighborhood, in Harmony House, and we are not there right now, Thursday nights, but maybe we'll regather there sometime on Thursday soon. We've been trying to do that periodically. Now it's good weather, so let's see what happens, but that's in the future. And so the topic is healing nature. And so wanted to first see at what nature does for itself, or what qualities there might be. And so in front of Harmony House, and I'm going to show you some pictures that I took, we have a tree between the street and the sidewalk. And I think it's a plantain, something like that, English tree. And it loses its bark and such, and it loses its limbs. And I'm going to circle what used to be a limb. There was a branch coming out here. And if you can see where I'm circling, what the tree has done, it has a quality that heals, that protects, and that it wants to stay alive. And so over time, it grows around its wound to cover it up so that it is stronger. Okay, and I'm sure you've seen this, but this is the one I found just on the street. If you look for them, like I indicated, you will find them. Where trees heal themselves, they have this energy to protect. And I want you to just hold into that. And if you want to put in the chat how you would describe that quality, I'm going to call it tonight self-love. That there's a quality about nature that is protective and mothering and caring for itself, and so wants to, enjoy life, survive, doesn't want to get diseased and anything like that. So it's got this sense, and I'm hoping you can see it in this picture, of self-love. Does that make some sense? And so going to use that quality. There's lots we could take, but I've chosen 3 for tonight. Not that you would need to agree on them, and not that there's only one in this, but that sense that self-love and nature is healing itself, and it's focusing on that. And so we're going to look at the qualities that nature, actually there's examples of trees here, has for itself, and see if we can use those and understand those and apply them ourselves. And so tree, heal, overcomes. There's another tree. This is in the front yard, but we're going to the backyard. And this is one of my favorite trees because you can see, and I'm going to assume most of you know how trees work, that they tend to grow up. They start from the ground and the seed, and then they branch out and they grow up. Well, in the backyard, there's lots of trees at Harmony House. And sometimes they grow out and to get a little more sun, to get whatever it is that they need from the sun and the air, more rain. And so some of them grow a little on an angle. Okay, this one's angled here. This one's starting to fall over actually. But this tree here, and it's a tree, was growing out, and in a windstorm, kind of fell over, got blown over. And it's like, oh, it's too bad this tree fell down, but its roots are still attached. And one of the qualities is like, well, let's see what happens. And so we watched the tree, and it stayed alive. And it's growing. And what's amazing to me, and it's quite lovely, in October, around that time, you come back and you'll see it, but it changes colors from the tip to the base. And so this tree is at least 4 colors. You got the deep red and the red and the orange and the yellow, and there's green down here, 5 colors. It's just amazing to me. It's quite beautiful because it fell. And the quality of, when I look at that, is that this tree has adapted itself. Okay, so I've been injured. Maybe I'm not in the position that is best for me. Maybe, but I have some resilience. I have the ability to adopt. I can maneuver, and adjust. A variety of qualities that just, kind of scream out in loud colors that I'm alive and I'm going to make the best of my situation. So I invite you all to visit Harmony House in the fall and watch the colors change and see if the lesson of this tree might be useful for you sometime. It's, to me, quite pretty. And it's amazing. And I'm going to show you, just so you think that it's not a bush or something like that. But this is the view today of the same tree. You can see the trunk, and it's kind of curvy, trying to adjust and get some sun, and reached out so much, but it's just starting to come into its leaves today. But the trunk is down over here, and it fell into our yard, and it kind of reaches out in that aspect. But it is adopted. And so instead of trees growing from the outside, each one of these little branches, I don't know if you can see them all, but it started to grow trees from the trees. And so each of these is starting to do kind of its natural thing and grow straight up. So we have a tree that's adjusting, and instead of putting all its energy towards the very end or the top, it's starting to grow itself in another way. And an amazing lesson is that, you work with what you got, and you kind of adjust to the situations, and you can still make whatever situation you're in beautiful, unique, your own. And so healing nature is able to fix itself help itself by using that spiritual quality of adjusting. And if you don't see it from this way, this is the tree from the end looking towards the trunk. This is Harmony House. I sit on that bench once in a while. But this is the trunk, and there's the base of it. And these are all how it's adapted and adjusted and kind of dealing with the situation it's got. And maybe you know individuals who say, well, you know, this is what's happened, but let me make the best of it. And maybe, and I hope no one here tonight puts themselves in this category, but maybe you know someone who says, well, I fell over, I'm not going to do anything. It's not fair, or something's wrong, I can't do something, I'm just going to lay here and wait to die, or something like that. Hope that's not anybody there, but this tree can give you a lesson about how we adapt and adjust and share our beauty in another way. Never would have seen that. So, and the third one that I want to share is in the backyard. So we're kind of walking from the front into the back, and then we're going to come down this way a little. And this is a cherry tree, sort of. It was a gorgeous tree, and it's rotted away. It's an old tree and just kind of got tired. And this is its trunk and the roots going down here. And this part of it, if you can see that, is just kind of, you know, falling away. It just is degrading itself, mostly. But there's some life on the other side coming out of this very narrow part here. And that sense of looking at this tree and having that quality of newness, rebirth, zeal and enthusiasm for life. It's like nothing's going to stop me. I will do that. You might be able to identify a few more spiritual qualities when you look at this tree and see how it's holding on and what it's doing. But it's pretty much disappeared. It's gone from its original. And it used to have a beautiful arc over the backyard. And so there would be these cherry blossoms. I think it's a, what do they call it? Not the regular cherry, another type. It'll pop to me. Words kind of have a way of slipping beyond my mouth. But anyway, it would be the cherry, it would have that quality, it would grow, and then it just kind of faded away. But it faded away, hope you can see all these pictures, in that sense that it didn't give up. You know, I want to stay alive. I have this enthusiasm. I will do something. And this is the tree today. It is in bloom. It is beautiful. And from the dead part, it started to branch out, and it has become this massive, healthy part of that. And so it still has that zeal and enthusiasm. So the qualities that I want us to recognize that nature has are healing. And there is the zeal, there's the enthusiasm, there's the love, and there is the ability to adjust. All of those are, you know, within our vision, what we can see. And there'd be a lot more examples. You could see a lot more than that. But those are the ones that I wanted to kind of make it aware for you. See what we've got there. And so hope that might set the stage of what it is. Weeping cherry, thank you. It is it's not a cherry. Whatever the trees are, it's something that you can observe. I observe just sitting and watching, and you know, things kind of are transmitted when you watch. And I truly encourage you to take the time. And as a matter of fact, one of the reasons the theme for the month and the choice for me is that Saturday is the Earth Day. It's 20 something, 40 something. I forget what it would be. Long time ago it started, but it's like, hey, you know, we need to reconsider how we interact. And it's fascinating because if you have some years under your belt, so to speak, there was a time in my lifetime where we were still thinking that we needed to conquer nature. We needed to dominate it. We needed to bend it to our will. We needed to, fight it. We need to work with it because it was unruly and such. And now, for the most part, it's kind of getting unruly in a different way. We've changed our attitude as a society. We need to nurture it. We need to care for it. We need to look after it. That in 50 years, what we have done and our realization of what we've done have changed dramatically. Okay, we're not supposed to throw all our garbage in the river. Okay, at one time, that's what everybody did. I, worked for a company and they made PCBs. Actually, it was GE. I wasn't involved with that big company, lots of different things. But those were great chemicals because they helped in our electrical transformers and made things safe and power. And everybody got their TVs and microwaves and all that stuff until they kind of figured out, well, maybe they aren't so safe. And so they got, outlawed and can't violate and you have to clean them up and all sorts of things like that. And so it just shows that what we think might be good initially might not always be that way. And so what we've done in our lifestyles and such might have been an advance in one way, but we've changed our mind about all that. And so the earth is something, there's only one earth. People are trying to get to the moon and pretty fast these days, but that's not my plan. So in a way, Earth Day's coming. How do we celebrate that? What do we think about it? And how can nature show us how it heals? And how can we use those for ourselves? Because all of that is nature to help nature. But I want to see if I might be able to encourage you to follow along with how nature helps me, us, you, human life. And I'm going to do that through our senses. Okay. And maybe I'll bring this back. That might be helpful. I'm going to share the screen, this last image again. And hold on. We'll do number 2. Do you see the again, the cherry tree? Anybody nod? Yes, no?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So I have the opportunity to sit in front of a computer for extended periods of time. It's a miracle of current times that I can sit and conjure up anything that I want. Do banking, I can see buildings in Manhattan. I can go and see from an aerial view what's India. I can find out information about lawsuits, and it's just amazing. Do I use that productively all the time? Not all the time, cat videos, things like that. So we have all the power in the world, and what do we do? But sometimes I need a break, sitting and looking at a screen that is shining light into my face. When I come out into the backyard of Harmony House, today this was the view. Spring coming. And it's amazing the contrast that I go through when I walk outside. It's as if my eyes have to readjust. They do readjust because there's something soothing just being outside. I've got green grass, and I want you to, if you can't see it, envision this. And just your eyes, how nature helps with that. The color of green in the grass, the color of blue in the sky, the variety of images and shapes and light and shadow. and how that heals. Personally, heals me immensely. Takes away kind of pressure, takes away a variety of challenging circumstances with the light. And it's softer, it's easier, it's kinder. And I'm not going to tell you that this is the case, but I'm hoping that my sharing of this brings back your experiences also. One of the things that I will also do in the backyard when I take a little break is breathe. And I want you all to take a deep breath now. You're probably in a room, not outside. You know, if you're listening to me, you're probably in front of some sort of a screen, and I'm glad you're here. Thank you. But I'm hoping that you'll take some time from now through Sunday and the rest of your life to go outside and just notice how the air, oftentimes in the springtime, is so nurturing and healing. And so take a deep breath. And do that regularly. One of the great curses that we've put on ourselves is that if we sit forward on our laptop and type, we have curved our back, we have scrunched our lungs, we don't breathe deep, we're not very healing for ourselves. So always kind of lean back when you can, take a break, 20 minutes, all sorts of stuff that you know and should do. And go outside and stand up straight, walk around, and nature through your breath will heal. Very healing that way. And in this same place and anywhere where you're with nature, it heals through the ears. I can hear a variety of the birds. Okay, the cardinals have a little, chirp chirp sounds. Blue jays have a caw. The robins, I can look at them and they look at me, and we kind of fight over the turf, and they hop away. And it's just amazing the sounds that they make. My favorite that nature has that is so healing is the breezes in the trees. In the winter, it's more of the limbs clacking, like claves, if you want to do it that way, if you're musical at all. And in the springtime, when it's starting, the greens and the little things, and in the summer and the fall, the rustling, big storms, each of those somehow brings a sound that is enlivening, creates some zeal and enthusiasm, and has that healing quality, some sort of regenerative. I'm connected to, my mother Earth type of a thing. Going through the census, I walk in the backyard, and we had a donation one time of somebody at Easter a couple years ago at hyacinth. And so they had a truckload, or literally a truckload. And it's like, well, what are we going to do with hyacinths? Springtime flower, if you know that. It's like, well, okay, somebody donated it, let's plant it. So planted it all around. And so walking in the springtime last week with the smell of the purple, few white ones, hyacinth, amazing. And then there's a number of other flowers that are growing. The colors are wonderful, but all the senses are activated. The eyes, the ears, the lungs, the nose. And it is different than an artificial spray that you might have inside, but just wanted to highlight and maybe seed your intellect with the things that are possible, so that that's what will be in your mind, and that's what you will see, and that's what you will experience. And so you will be a part of that self-love, healing yourself. And not yet garden ready, but some of the other qualities that nature can give that just bring back and create or sustain or activate is taste. We've got another tree farther down, and it has these black berries. It's not blackberry, it's not a huckle, could be a huckleberry.
Mulberry?
Mulberry. Thank you. And a very soft skin, and so they don't travel. You can't buy them anywhere because they always, you touch them and they fall apart. They're very, very, very sweet. And sometimes I have to chase away the birds and the squirrels. You know, we kind of go down there, and we have some wild raspberries in the back and a variety of things. But I want you to think about going into your, I hope, garden or a garden and eating straight out of there. One of my incredible memories was going up to another retreat place, Peace Village, where they had a garden. It's gone now, a few things, but they had these vines of sweet peas, and they were just coming out. They were incredible. And so what is available from nature immediately, and how that can be so healing is what kind of want to highlight tonight. Nature has qualities that it uses on itself. Nature has qualities that are healing for ourselves. And that's just the beginning. That's just the beginning. So nature can heal itself. It heals us. It is the world. So it helps to heal itself, the world. We want to see if we might be able to use those qualities and that way of living on ourselves. How do we apply it, the lessons of nature, to ourselves? And are you, and these are not, these are takeaway questions, but are you caring for yourself? Are you sensitive to what might cause you upset or take you away from a peaceful stage? And are you able to do something about it so that it doesn't cause you? Can you heal a broken branch? Can you, and a broken branch for us tonight might be something along the lines of hurt feelings. Somebody said something, oh, and they've offered you a chance to take pain. Is there something that we can do, that we can practice? Can we be powerful so that we nurture ourselves, that we have that? Do we always wake up with the zeal and enthusiasm, even though a part of us is gone? And a lot of my life is gone, it's past. But can I still find some zeal and enthusiasm to get up and do things and try something and show my inner qualities, whether it's spring blossoming or whether it's what I have in my mind or what I can do to help somebody else? Do I have zeal and enthusiasm? And do I have that ability to not only have zeal and enthusiasm, but whatever comes, I can adjust to that. I can adapt to that. I might have fallen over, but I can pick myself up, or maybe I'll just grow sideways. Those are the lessons that want to kind of offer, push across the table to you, have you think about, what are the spiritual lessons that I see all the time around me, and how can I use those for myself? One of the great tragedies in our lives, for many of us, possibly, some of you have moved away, good for you, is that we're a little far from the qualities, the healing of what I'm calling nature. Outside, trees, wild animals, not, you know, that wild, but a variety of different aspects that can heal us. A lot of times we're on concrete, a lot of times we're in buildings, a lot of times we're you know, air conditioned or heated or separated from actually what's going on. I'm not asking you to leave the world and go up into the mountains and, you know, reject it all. But is there something that we might do so that our bond to a source of energetic healing power is increased? Is there something that we can do? Of course there is, right? Let me stop this healing here. Because want to see where it's at, okay? And that was time. That was a part for ourselves, but those same qualities, loving, enthusiastic, and adjusting, that was first directed to the self, like nature, but nature also sends it out. And so more questions. Is it possible? Can I send out those qualities in my interactions, in my relationships? Can I share, a zeal and enthusiasm? Can I be loving to somebody else? Can I be positive? Can I practice that, hold that thought, take that from my meditation practice? Can I take that from my studying? Can I practice that so that I am powerful in a spiritual sense, and that I can be kind of following the role model of nature by sharing that also? Okay, nature uses it for itself and then it gives it away. We can use it for ourselves and then we can give it away. Can I adjust to the people in my life? Or do they have to see and understand the way I want them to because I'm right and I know what's this and they have to follow everything that I do? Are there other ways to deal with other people? Not everybody always does what I want them to, believe it or not. It's just one of those things. And so what we learn for ourselves, what we learn, how can we apply that? And what we learn for the world. And wanted to share a short little summary video of that, how we might nurture. This is how we might change the world. It's a minute and a half, so we'll kind of springboard off of that, looking at time, and see if we might discuss ways that nature has helped us. So how can we, at this time, work with nature? So we're going to just play this. It's a summary of some of the Brahma Kumaris' 10 ways to change the world, and see if we might be able to inspire. We'll talk about this after we see it. So hang on. That was from the Brahma Kumaris Environment Initiative. You'll be able to find it there. And I found it in a poster, what they were talking about. And that's not too big. See if I can share that. That video was showing 10 ways to change the world. And this is kind of a poster that was built. You can probably find it, live simply and be unlimited, eat well, a variety of different ways that we can start to heal nature. And when we have that awareness, that actually we do play a part in the world. Am I sharing the whole thing? It's all right. maybe a little easier to read some of these things. But what comes to mind is how we live and what happens, and a variety of those things. Karma is a lesson I hope all of you have taken, because there's something, I don't know if it's wonderful, but it's quite amazing. It's making the news. There's a blob of algae in the Sargasso Sea. It's called sargassum, and it can reach from Africa to the Gulf and Florida. And it's supposed to be washing up the beaches, and you're not supposed to get it on you. It can be ammonia. It can, releases gases. It decomposes. Smells really bad. But they say that it is one of the biggest algae blooms in recorded history this year. And part of it is because of all the fertilizers that are being used in the Amazon and the Mississippi and some of the other rivers, because they've been hacking down the land and trying to grow something there and fertilizing it, and that goes into the river. And it makes this stuff grow great. And so, our actions actually do affect the world around us. And so this Saturday is Earth Day. It is a day to recognize some of the qualities and some of the things that we can do. I like be positive, okay? What is your attitude? How can you do these things? And some of the things that we do here, feed the soul, take some time. Spending time alone in silent prayer or meditation gives us inner strength and wisdom to deal with life in a more positive and peaceful way. And so I'm hoping that those 10 aspects and the lessons that we have taken from some of the ailing trees in Great Neck might be a way for us to think about ourselves, what we want to do, how we can lead our lives, and just be more in touch with the signals, the signs, and the inspiration that are always around with us. So that being said, I'm going to invite our wonderful MC, Sister Louise, to come back and join and see if we might be able to see what was inspired or what your thoughts are, and we can open it up to the others if they want to chat or question or participate. So
yeah, will they be able to speak? Or do they have to go?
I can't
Can we
make
invite them?
speak, but
Can we unmute them?
we can unmute.
Okay, so feel free, everyone, if you have a question or a comment. While we're waiting, I'm back at the tree that heals itself. I'm all the way back there, and I'm thinking, of course, how do we apply such simple, innocent healing to ourselves and to our planet and to other people? And I'm thinking of what we spend so much time studying when we study here is what gets in our way. And the tree does not have intellect. The tree is naturally moving always, unless we mess it up, unless someone comes with a chainsaw violently. We are watching nature move in only the direction of life, and only in the direction of self-beauty and self-fulfillment. So what happens to us? We're smart. We start to think, and we start to question, and we start to have resentments, and we start to do all of these things that are contrary to nature. And of course, we can take that all the way to the evolution of technology and what's going on in the present that seems so much like advancement, and is actually, we're also watching fake news and things like that. So the branches of all of that nature seem to be, my sister sent me a video today. She's cutting down 80 beautiful tall trees.
80?
I'm sure she's lining the property. I don't know why. She lives in Georgia, Canton, Georgia. But she was so excited and sent me a video of the chainsaw. And I had no idea what you were doing tonight. And all of a sudden, I am just like in mourning for every one of those trees. Maybe they were a danger to the house that was built. You know,
Maybe she's building a log cabin.
I don't think so, not my sister. But that's the thing that struck me, how innocent, and we would fit in so beautifully and naturally, except we think very hard, I think. What do you think? You have a spin on that?
I know, and the 80 trees coming down,
Yeah.
not without any kind of a reference.
No.
That we've cut some trees down. We used to have a lot of ash trees, and they grew really straight and they'd fall down and you could build with them and such like this. But if you know, there was an ash borer bug, and a lot of them are dying. And so rather than having them fall on cars or buildings or people, you know, but if you need any sticks or lumber, talk to me.
Gotcha. There's always good reason for things. I mean, somewhere, but this is civilization. Isn't it ironic, right? The other thing having to do with, I don't know what, but I stop me if I've shared this before on Thursday nights, but I was a homeowner for the first time about 49 years ago. And I walk outside the first spring day to my back fence, and there are tulips I never planted. And as a kid growing up in Astoria, Queens, houses, apartment buildings, I had never seen a tulip up close.
And when they need help. Most recently, we unfortunately had a shooting outside of our school around February.
Okay, we good?
Yeah.
And I went up to the back fence to get a closer look. And there I am, 5'6", staring down into the center of an open tulip. And it was the most perfect colors encased in prismatic shapes, geometric shapes. And if you want to see divinity in action and see what puts all of this life force in motion, I mean, I've looked at bumblebees and you see the beautiful patterns on butterflies, but in that flower that was going to last 2 weeks was this beautiful geometric, and the yellow perfectly separated from the blue, the deep, as it was just, it blew me. I brought tears to my eyes as a homeowner for the first time. Yeah. So it's just amazing. And I'm so glad, Leslie, that it did not rain and you were able to get out there for us and take all of those wonderful pictures and catch everything today for us. So thank you. So anybody want to say a few words? What do we have here? Chat or just unmute? Did I see Sherry? What is this? Michelle. Michelle, you want to talk to us or you want me to read what you wrote?
It was on another
Read
call.
it. Okay. I have, Michelle, I have always realized that everything in nature and what God makes is recycled. Everything, exclamation point. I can't think of anything that isn't, can you? Yet most things that humans create and are most proud of cannot be recycled. So we recycle too. That is my confirmation about my soul. Brother Eric?
That was great. Yeah, that's one of the big parts of it. If we're conscious of what we're doing, it's interesting to me to live with what is necessary and to be observant of what I've got that I really don't need. And things are the easiest things to identify on that aspect. You know, I don't need that many sweaters. I don't need that many, you know, cars or shoes or whatever it's going to be, because I don't use that many. And so it kind of just takes up space. We had a experience at Harmony House of needing to update the office. And so we went into it, and it's amazing. And maybe some of you have done this before, how much stuff that we had, whether it was given to us or somebody bought, that were duplicates. Okay. And have you ever had the situation where you can't find something, and so it's easier to go buy new than to be organized and find what you already have? And so it's like, where did this come from? How come we have so much of this? And what are we going to do with all this stuff? And oh, here's this thing. And so that aspect of being able to know what you have and use it well, I think is a very caring gesture. And when we start to have that care for the things that we have, that would come from a sense that we care for ourselves. And that aspect that, let me, use what I've got and let me take care of what I've got and not worry so much about what I don't have. And I love these trees because, they were dealing with what they had. They were working to protect themselves, but express themselves also. And so expressing ourselves come from being in touch with those qualities and, put a plug in for everybody to meditate again. Have that silent time. In that silent time, all those qualities come out. We're in touch with that, and we're alive, and we can use those. I don't know how people get through their days, not very well sometimes, without some sort of flushing, renewing, reconnecting, all those aspects. So,
Absolutely.
a little something there.
Can I share? Yeah, it's
Jane.
And yeah, I just want to say
Hi.
it was so powerfully beautiful in terms of really feeling what that tree, when you presented the tree and looking that area where it was healing itself, I felt that it came alive, that it was so real that, and I, some people know where I live. I live in Seacliff, and there are so many beautiful trees that just come alive, and water here and so on. You talk about a healing opportunity. You just walk outside, and the way you presented that, Brother Erik, with every nuance to really feel it in your senses. I never really felt it the way that you were sharing in terms of that tree, though, just how it totally healed itself in that one moment. How you expressed that was really, I think, I have a dog here, and if you saw a picture of her right now, which I might show you, she is in her meditative mode. She's on her back with her paws up. That says it all. That says it all.
Very nice.
That is the moment of nature that I learned from her all the time. She takes me places at moments where I think, is this where I'm? And she takes me right to what is needed at that moment. So if we just really listen to nature in all its forms, as you were expressing, that is truly a gift. I thank you for really appreciating that tree. I just really do. I didn't sense it in the way that you expressed it. So thank you. And from a very, very early age, I was very fortunate to be surrounded by a lot of nature and really to appreciate it. But I don't think that I really understood it in the way that I do now, because I think it was taken for granted that it was all there and you just appreciate the beauty of it. But the more I am in, when I every once in a while go into Manhattan, I see such a huge difference. I really, really do, and feel that difference. So how fortunate we are. Thank you for bringing that to us, Brother Erik. I think that's an important message, really. Thank you.
My pleasure. Very happy to do that. And so when everybody's in Great Neck and you want to walk around, I'll tell you one of the things that is transcendent. In the morning, when the dew is on, or when it's kind of in the cool of the evening, walk on the grass barefoot. And if you haven't done it for a while, that connection, that feeling, that relationship is just quite amazing. It's very peaceful. It's very comforting. And it just takes you out of your own concerns and your own worries. I think that's kind of what they should do, and for everybody all the time, barefoot in the grass. See how that might work out. So thank you for your comments and being here tonight. And now go outside and run around and frolic.
I really appreciate that as well, Erik. Their presentation of nature was really very soothing and beautiful. And I too grew up around a lot of nature and so much, you know, and now I live in the city and I'm very busy. But you reminded me that back during COVID, I was studying with this music therapist, and one of the things that she had us do was to take our Native American flutes out to the trees and out in nature. And she encouraged us to look for animals or birds or whatever we found and play to these creatures, because these flutes are made from branches of trees.
Yeah.
And they are really, 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 like, I can't tell you how many children, because they're so simple, they absolutely fall in love with that sound, you know, and they'll say, wow, where's that from? But it is from nature. And sometimes I just get, you know, so removed from going back to see the birds I was playing for. I would find these birds that were like damaged, and I would just go stand there where they were on the trees and play for them for like a half an hour. Then their other birds would fly in and kind of hang out with me a little bit, and then they would fly back. So I've had that really regenerating experience with nature, and I need to go back to it. I need to not forget about that. It's really very powerful.
If I have any power at this time in your lives, it would be to notice what time it is and give you a chance to go out soon to be with nature in just a minute or two.
My goodness, that went so fast, incredibly quick tonight. Beautiful, just beautiful.
All right, so can we start to wind down on our beautiful trip with nature and its healing qualities? Just to close out, if it's okay, before any announcements that you make, Louise, want to repeat, reinforce what we did before, and have that awareness that in your mind's eye, see the sky, see something that is nurturing, that is full of love, and that brings you some enthusiasm. And as you're seeing that, take a deep breath and feel the rejuvenating qualities that nature gives to us through the oxygen in the air. And you're hearing my voice mostly, predominantly, but bring back some of the sounds, the birds, the trees, the wind, and listen through your ears to what nature is offering to calm us down. And think of some of the smells that you've had as you've been outside. Flowers, the hyacinth, some of the vines, jasmine. Maybe there's just the earthy cut grass smell. It somehow has the ability to ground us, to soothe us, put us into a space that allows us to be above and transcendent from our own limited concerns. And may you all, after this, have the ability to go into your kitchen and refrigerator and have some fresh fruit. Think of that now, how that will taste. Juicy, sweet. It cares for you and it will nurture you.
Mhm.
And so everybody, enjoy the days and Saturday, Earth Day, Get outside, no matter what the weather, and know that it is going to be wonderful and special, and there will be messages for you to lead your life, to make it wonderful. Om Shanti.
I was going to do something nasty and show you the tree being cut down in my sister's, but I won't end on that note. I just want to add, if I may take a second, it's one little breath away from healing ourselves the way the tree did. And I really wanted to say that before, because we can talk to our plants, they feel it. We know that there's been, and I talked to my knee, and I feel as though there were moments I was able to heal my little injury, you know, and help ourselves that way. So thank you for a beautiful, beautiful evening, and all the beautiful photography and beautiful you. Thank
It's
you.
good fun. Sure.
Come back next week. We have Sister Gayatri, and she will be talking about joy. Sister Gaia, there she is. Sister Gayatri will be talking about what brings her joy, what brings you joy, and that will be our last April show. So I hope you'll all join us. And if you want, anybody want to unmute and give a wave and just say good night. I just want to thank you all for coming. Thank you, everyone. Anybody? Everybody's no? Okay.
Thank
Jane,
you.
Jerry.
Woohoo! Thank you,
Thank you,
brother.
brother.
Always.
There
It
you
was
go.
awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Good fun. Thank you, everybody. It's
Okay. Hi,
wonderful.
Lisa. Thank you for your
Hi.
comment. Okay. Take
Love it.
care, Sherry,
Awesome.
Jane. Okay. Shanti all.
Om Shanti, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you for that.
Bye.
It's great.